Hey y'all. Hope everybody's safe. Can't say if people are happy, I don't think you would be. And as far as health, well, I hope everybody's as healthy as they can be. And it's really sad because there's lots of people now that are succumbing to this virus. And that's really sad. So, with this message, I'm going to end with a prayer for all the people that have succumbed from this virus and that are still suffering, and for the people that will succumb to this virus. And that's for everybody, that's for the whole entire human race, because I think we're deceived by the fact that we know the virus is here. We know it exists, but we don't know how to cope with it. And what I mean by that is, the fact is, we're all scared of the fact that if we have a test, and there's thousands out there that have been tested, and that's so wonderful because the nation now realises that the necessity and the need to be tested is so great. But we also have the fear of being tested and being found positive. Now, we've got to realise that this test is to save people's lives. And we can't go on kidding ourselves. And people do kid themselves with this virus. And what I mean by that is that I've noticed there's a lot of people out there that kid themselves by the fact is that they might have a runny nose, a cough, sore neck, feeling sick, vomity, maybe without a fever, thinking this is nothing, and running off to the chemist and getting flu tablets, to succumb it, to dry the nose up, to stop the tickle in the throat, to stop the headaches, to stop the aches in our body, to carry on like there's nothing wrong. That is wrong within itself. Because what I think's happened now with society, I could be wrong, correct me in a comment, but what I think's happening now in society, people have come to that point where they're going to try and suppress if they've got any signs of any symptoms, runny nose, cough, that sort of thing. They're going to run off to the chemist and get these suppressants. And there are plenty out there. You go into any chemist and they're lined up. Every type of flu tablet there is, night and day, Sudafed, you name it. Sudafed you have to ask over the counter. Okay. But for other suppressants and cough mixtures and so forth, you don't. You just go in and buy what you want. Now the thing is, it's wrong because there are people out there suppressing their signs when they get symptoms and going out trying to maintain what sort of life they've got and not realising that they need to be tested, because if they're suppressing their self with flu tablets and, cough suppressants and whatever else is out there, and there's a lot, then you're going to be fooled by somebody. Because if you walk past them or in the supermarket or whatever the case may be, and they're not coughing, they're not runny nose, they're not anything, you think, oh, well, the person's... You don't think anything of it, really, you don't. And that to me is wrong. These people have got to realise you've got to have a conscience. You can't just go to the chemist constantly, and there's heaps of people that do it, Because as I said, they're trying to maintain what bit of life they've got, if they've got a job. I realise that. But a lot are going out suppressing their little signs of runny nose, cough, whatever else, aches, pains. And they're running around in the community and you wouldn't know. I think that's wrong. What's got to happen now is for the government to get a real handle on things and to be able to really know whether people have got flus, the influenza, is that coming back on? Or bronchitis, or is this person just got a general cold, or what? You don't know. So what the government's got to do is realise and work with the pharmaceutical people to make them realise what they're selling in their stores, in their chemists, could be to somebody that potentially has COVID. And they wouldn't know because they're walking in as normal as, I've just got a tickle on the throat, yeah. Okay, well there you go. Go to the front counter and pay for it. No questions asked. And I think that's wrong because if people now are coming into chemists getting flu suppressants and cough mixtures and so forth, they should be made to put their name down, their telephone number, so they can be contacted. Because, to be quite honest, everybody is hitting up on these products, walking around in society, and you wouldn't know a thing. You wouldn't even know they're sick. Well, how do they know they don't have the virus? Meanwhile, poor Joes like me, you, or whoever else that is very susceptible to the virus, we don't know. We're doing the right thing, mask, whatever else, that doesn't matter. Because it's airborne, it mutates. So these people are wrong. Going out suppressing when you get signs of a runny nose, sore throat, body aches, ear aches, stomach aches, vomiting, nausea, things like that, and you don't have a temp, or you might have a temp from 35.5 or 36 or 36.1, you don't think there is anything wrong with it? Well, make an appointment at your local doctor to get properly checked before you just go out to a chemist and think, oh, well, I'll just chuck one of these down my throat. We'll be right, mate. Well, that's a really, really, really selfish way of looking at it. Because while you're trying to suppress what you've got, and there's heaps of you guys out there doing it, right, and trying to maintain what life you've got, others are losing their life. Everything. So I think that's a selfish way of thinking about it, selfish way of doing it, and I think the government's stupid because they're not regulating, they're not even in contact with the pharmaceutical people. They're not in contact. There's no communication happening. So the chemists, they just sell what they want. So the people that are going in asking for these products and so forth should have their name, their telephone number, and ask whether they've had a test. And if they haven't, then ask why. At least inquire. But the government's not doing that. And they're wondering why people are dropping like flies. Well, don't wonder. Think about it, people. Because people are trying to suppress until they fake it, till they can't make it. And nobody is on board with that. So realise that if you've got symptoms, if you've got earaches, neck aches, runny sniffle, a cough, you feel like your back's sore, somebody's pounding on it and you think, oh, that might be a sign of bronchitis. How do you know? You don't know because there's so much in the air now. And this virus is airborne. Remember that. So your little mask is not going to protect you 100 out of 100%. So that 10%, You've got to be on board. You've got to be conscious of the fact. You can't go to a chemist and just, oh yeah, a packet of night and day flu tablets, please. You know, pop your pills, you'll be right. Oh, I feel fantastic. How many people have said that? Well, so please have a conscience. But if the government hears this, please come on board with this, because there's a lot of people out there doing it. They're just popping flu tablets to sustain what they can until they can't possibly anymore. So to me, that's wrong. Anyway, I want to say a prayer for the people that have succumbed to this virus and that are suffering. And as I said, there's going to be a hell of a lot more suffer and succumb to this virus. So I only think it's befitting that a prayer is said, not only for the people, the victims of this virus, but also for the angels of mercy, I call them. They're our doctors and our nurses, not only here in Australia, but all over the world. So if anybody's hearing this in the UK, America, wherever, this is to your nurses and your doctors as well. So I'll begin with my prayer, and I hope that you've enjoyed this topic that I've talked about, because I think it needs to be brought to air. It needs to have light shed upon it, because there's so many people, as I said, suppressing, when they get a flu or sickness, they're suppressing it. They're running off to the chemist and popping these pills. And then walking out in the community, in society, like there's nothing wrong. To me, that's wrong. Government, get on board. Regulate what's happening with the chemists, because you've got no communication. You're wondering why. You've got heaps of people running around getting sick. Wonder no more. Anyway, I'll finish with a prayer. Guardians, keepers of the universe, please allow your mercy to reach the people that have and are and will suffer from this virus. Shall you give them mercy? Shall you show them mercy? Guardians, keepers of the universe, you send your merciful angels as nurses and doctors. They succumb to this virus, guardians. Please protect them. Protect the whole entire world from this virus. Shall you allow the darkness to disappear, and shall you allow the light once more upon mankind? O merciful ones, hear our prayer. Like, subscribe and comment. Bye, y'all.